Well, Greenpeace Africa is welcoming news that Eskom is finally assessing whether to continue pouring money into the Medupi and Kusile power stations. The organization says a transition towards clean energy is the only logical solution to the country's electricity crisis. It says clean energy will also safeguard South Africans' rights to a healthy environment. I'm now joined in studio by Greenpeace Africa's Senior Climate and Energy Campaign Manager, Melita Steele, to talk about all this. So, Melita, we are in a tough situation here. Load shedding just won't stop coming. We're hearing that this will likely continue for another 6-month period. You're saying this is the time to look at green options, but why can't we complete Medupi and Kusile while we wait for the greener options to come online?
Medupi and Kusile have been under construction for a number of years now, and it's come to light that actually there are construction defects, so they're not delivering the electricity that they need to deliver into the grid. But also, Eskom is in this major financial crisis. They don't have the money, right? So if you actually recognize that Medupi and Kusile are a bad investment, not only because coal-fired power stations drive climate change, but also because it is coal-fired power stations that are driving pollution and a public health crisis, that you say, okay, we don't have enough money, let us not continue to throw money into a black hole. Let us stop and recognize that this is not a good investment and instead shift towards renewable energy, which can be invested far more rapidly and actually deliver electricity, which is what South Africans...
But the need for electricity is quite urgent in the country. People are fed up. We're 8 days now into these consecutive blackouts. People want the lights to be kept on right now. So how long would it take if we were to go the green route to make sure that all our homes are electrified as well as businesses?
So the renewable energy projects that have come online in South Africa are delivering on time and on budget. And in fact, it was Eskom itself that campaigned against these renewable energy projects and prevented them from actually being signed. So what we could do, the President has said this is a state of emergency, a crisis. We should have an emergency round of renewable energy bids that are fast-tracked, and we could start delivering renewable energy much faster than the coal-fired power stations can. And it's really, coal is literally a terrible investment when you look at it from an environmental perspective, but also in terms of the load shedding. We're in load shedding because the coal that we are relying on almost entirely is not delivering.
Let's chat for a moment about the admission by the Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan that Medupi and Kusile were badly constructed, an admission that comes several years too late. Do you think there's been accountability? Where is the accountability for A, what appears to have been a poor monitoring process, and B, where's the accountability for a situation where we're sitting with two very expensive projects? I think the projected cost was about 292 billion rand for Medupi and Kusile, and then government says, well, these weren't constructed in a proper way, but here we are. Where's the accountability?
So Medupi and Kusile are going to be two of the biggest coal-fired power stations in the world, but they're also being sold as being state-of-the-art. So they're supposed to be the best that you can get when it comes to coal. Greenpeace would strongly disagree that you can get good coal. But in terms of what Kusile and Medupi are supposed to be delivering, they absolutely are not delivering. And I think what is coming up now in terms of the corruption and the mismanagement that has happened, I would say over the last 5 to 8 years, is really terrifying. And I think Minister Pravin Gordhan is taking steps towards accountability. But Eskom is so far into the hole in terms of even understanding who signed what, why it didn't get done, that it's going to take some time to actually unravel everything. But I think what is key is that Eskom, now they're looking at whether they should finish Medupi and Kusile, and there have been studies that have been released that say it doesn't make financial sense. Now they actually take that step, say, okay, we're stepping back. Let us focus on maintaining our current coal-fired power stations to try and prevent load shedding, and in the meantime shift to renewable energy.
Should the Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan, Eskom Board Chairperson Jabu Mabuza, and the CEO Phakamani Hadebe, should they be the people to fall on their swords for this energy crisis if it's not sorted out within this 6-month load shedding period?
I think that's a very good question, and I would say that the accountability at Eskom lies with previous executives. I think the current executives, the current minister, they are doing what they can to try and stabilize the situation. However, if they're not able to fix things, then people are going to have to...
So after 6 months, should they go, all three?
I wouldn't say all three should go. It depends what happens in the next 6 months. Let's see. But there has to be accountability. South Africans are sick and tired of sitting in the dark and paying the price for other people's mismanagement.
Melita Steele from Greenpeace Africa, thank you for your time.